All the challenges that we've done so far in this competition have been during the day. It's time to do one at night. This Friday, it's Midnight Madness, and it's a mashup of a lot of the previous challenges the contestants have run. It looks a little bit like this. This challenge is timed, and each person will get 5 attempts, with the best time being the winner. The challenge works like this. You start in the middle, and then you head up towards the top set of cones. And just like the bumper to bumper challenge, you want to get as close as you can to this set of cones without touching them. The distance you are from these cones will be measured in inches, and that number will be added to your time as seconds. Then from here you reverse through the cones on the right hand side. Just like the Mind the Gap challenge, these cones are separated by 89 inches. After you hopefully successfully pass through the cones on the right hand side, you will reverse down to the cones on the bottom of the screen. Once again, as in the bumper to bumper challenge, you will get as close as you can without hitting them, without the use of the reverse camera of course, and once again, this distance in inches will be added to your time as seconds. Now from here, you will drive forward through the cones on the left hand side of the screen, again separated by 89 inches. And after doing all of those things, you will just have to hit the 2 cups on the screen, one with the left side tires and the other with the right side tires in reverse. You will only fail this challenge by hitting one of the cones. If you miss the cups, try again. Up first is Sarah, who admits she has a hard time seeing driving at night. Before Justin and Sarah tried this challenge, I did. I wanted to see how difficult it was. And believe it or not, it's pretty difficult. The lights from the car don't angle out very well, so you can't see the cones as you're trying to reverse through them on the right side. Also, the street light is on the back side of the cup that you have to reverse over, which makes it much more difficult to actually hit. The break in the video that you just seen was the cut edit of me getting out to measure the distance from the front bumper of the car to the pylon. I wanted to keep it fair, and the only way to do that really was to edit out that time. Sarah's doing a great job on her first attempt so far. The distance from the front bumper to the pylons wasn't that much, and she gave herself tons of space to get turned and straightened back out to reverse through these pylons over here. She also doesn't hit one with the front end of the car as she aids towards the back half, which I was expecting her to do actually. The biggest issue here is that she doesn't give herself nearly as much space to be able to turn and get back straight as she does when she was going through the pylons. So she ends up way far to the right when she backs up towards the back half of the course. She also misjudges the distance to the one cone that she could possibly hit, and hits it. Sarah's second attempt goes really well for about 15 seconds, but then she drives into one of the cones in front of the car. Her third attempt, she stops just in time for the cones in front of the car, but then backs straight up into one of the cones on the reverse gap. Before Sarah's fourth attempt, I remind her that you can't pass through these pylons if you're turning while you're going through them, and I show her that she needs to turn ahead of the pylon so that she can pass through them going straight. Similar to how you'd pass through them going forward. You know, if you're turning while you're passing through, you're going to hit the pylon with the inside of the car as you're turning. So on her fourth attempt, she does manage to stop before she hits the pylons in front of the car, and she does manage to get through the cones in reverse. So we'll skip ahead to the reverse part, where she's backing up to the pylons here, and this is how she failed her fourth attempt. See, the objective here is to get a measurement from the pylon to the bumper of the car, and although she didn't hit the pylon, she parked right on top of it. Now, before Sarah's fifth and final attempt, I took a run of the course. I won't show it in the video, but I was just showing her where to turn, what to look for, and how close she can get to things based off certain landmarks in the area. And it seemed to work. This is her final run. There's only 50 feet between the row of pylons in the front and the cones that you have to back through, so you notice this time how Sarah gets the car nearly parallel with the cones that you have to drive up to begin the course. And that helps her. That gives her enough space to be able to turn before she reverses through these two cones here, and she makes it easily. For the reversing section here, Sarah didn't nearly go far enough backwards to be able to line up with the row of pylons. But she doesn't back into one this time. Instead, she drives forward, repositions herself, and then reverses up to the row of pylons. Here you can see the difference in the final attempt and the others. She can look in the side mirrors and see both of the end pylons, which gives her a better judgment of the distance. And although this is her last run, she had to be kinda cautious, she still gets fairly close to them. Now it's just a little bit of a forward drive section, which Sarah hasn't had any trouble with in any of the previous challenges. For example, remember last week at the slalom, how easily she went forward through the slalom, but how much difficulty she had in reverse. Sarah hits the first cup going forward first try. Now all that's left in this entire challenge is to reverse over a cup. Now again, I remind Sarah here that in order to reverse over a cup, you want to back up towards it, seeing it in your right side mirror. And then when you get close enough, you want to turn just so that it disappears. Straighten up your wheel, and you should back straight over it. And the time stops right here when the front wheel backs over the cup. So her final attempt, she does set a time for this challenge. Sarah's results are pretty good. She only adds on 18 seconds from the distance from the bumper to the cones, so her time is just over 3 minutes. Now, that means it's Justin's turn, and Justin knows he needs to win this challenge. If Sarah wins this challenge, it's over. No matter what he does in the final Judgment Day challenge, it doesn't matter, Sarah wins. It did snow a little bit before Justin ran, but that doesn't excuse stopping almost 7 feet from the row of pylons. And then I think he was in a little bit too much of a rush trying to beat Sarah's time, which he doesn't know, by the way. But he backs straight up into one of these cones over here. I got faith in you, man. You can do this.
Do you really?
Well, I did until that happened.
That was my first time backing up between cones.
Justin's second attempt is slightly better. He gets to within 4 feet of the cones, but he knows that's not good enough. That's still going to add almost a minute to his time. So again, he rushes backwards, and again, he hits one of the cones. In Justin's third attempt, he gets to within 3 feet of the cones driving forward. And this time he really takes his time. He slows down, picks his way around the course, makes sure that he can at least finish it before he tries to go for speed, which is what he done in the previous challenges. Not sure what changed here. I guess he was a little bit rushed, stressed out maybe. He gets himself straight just in time to make it through these two cones. Then he takes a little bit of a shallow turn heading towards the back cones, but he still makes it, even though he's farther to the right than he'd like to be. From here, Justin takes off and absolutely rips through the two cones over here, driving forward. Now, the only thing left for Justin to do to stop his time are to hit the two cups with his left side tires and right side tires. He takes the inside turn here really tight, so he's trying to hit this cup over here with the left side tires, but he misses. I think he kind of rushed at this one a little bit faster than he wanted to get himself lined up, and he never really had enough space to be able to look forward. He drove at it while he was turning. So he decides to turn around and try to hit it again. Justin had a choice here. He could either turn around and try to hit it again, or take a 15-second penalty. He elected to turn around and try to hit it again, which is the right call here, because he does make it back to hit it on his second try in about 12 seconds. Now all Justin has to do for this challenge is to get himself lined up and reverse over this cup with his right side tires. Now this is what I said earlier about the lighting. This is actually difficult to see in the position that it's in. The street light on this side shines on this side of the cup, so it's easy for the camera to pick up here. But when you're in the car reversing towards it from the other side, it's almost total darkness, except for the reverse lights on the car. And the cup appears really dark. It takes Justin almost a full minute to find the cup and reverse over it, and by this time his base time, that is the time without the additions for the penalties from distance from the cones, is actually gone past Sarah's time with the additions. So that's not going to be good enough to win, but he doesn't know that yet. I'm sure he knows that he needs to do better than that though. In Justin's fourth attempt, he can't find reverse.
Yeah, can't find reverse.
And he does similar to Sarah's attempt. He actually backs up perfectly, a little bit too far, right on top of one of the cones. That's a fail. So his final attempt.
I need to adjust that mirror.
So it's Justin's final attempt, and he's finally adjusting the mirrors. Justin is only thinking about speed this time. He spun the tires off the start, and this is the closest that he gets to the front row of cones. He stops just over a foot away. From here, he reverses and does a near perfect S-turn to get himself lined up straight with the cones on the left side. And it's easy to back through when you can see both of them in your mirror, and you're still 10 feet in front of them. Reversing towards the back row of cones, Justin actually overshoots them and goes too far to the left. But he corrects and can still see 3 of them in his mirror. He gets to 4 inches away from that cone right there. From here, Justin drives through the cones on the right side like a bat out of hell, and he takes a wide turn, driving behind the camera this time, giving himself tons of straight space to be able to hit the cup with the left side tires. He comes around, and it's no trouble, he gets it first try. Justin nails the cup with the right side tires in reverse with a time of 1 minute and 50 seconds. Seems like Justin always manages to pull these things out of his ass on his final attempt. So his total time with the additions is 2 minutes and 10 seconds, which beats Sarah's time by almost a full minute once again. Now that Justin and Sarah are both tied with 3 wins apiece, the final challenge will decide the winner. So, next Friday, Justin takes on a mock road test, a test designed to see if he's learned anything over these past 7 challenges. We'll go through some narrow streets, some stop signs, some lights, all during the evening when traffic is at its highest and visibility is at its lowest. Eventually, we'll wind up doing a parking test. If Justin can start the challenge, that is. Okay, minus 15 points.
What did you do?
Trying to move with the parking brake engaged.